Hi guys, today I am back to film the Panning Pro tag. So I'm excited to do this one just because I think that this is the one that I feel like I love hearing everybody's answers the most. Like the TMI tag is definitely really interesting, but the panning one, for whatever reason, that is the one I love to watch. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Number one is, how did you learn about project panning and what was your first impression? So I think that I had kind of always been unofficially project panning. For example, I remember for a while when I was kind of first starting to really get into makeup, I only had one blush, and it was the Maybelline the Dream Mousse blush. Not the Dream Bouncy, it was the like mousse one that came in a little glass pot like the foundation does. And it was pretty, but it was just very glittery and I didn't really like it. And I was like, man, I'm gonna finish this blush, and then when I finish it I can go buy another one. And you know, it was like I was literally, you know, panning stuff without even really knowing that that's what I was doing. And then I think the first YouTube channel that I kind of came across panning videos was Jessica Makeup. I cannot say her name because she's got a Y in the makeup part. So it's Jessica Makeup, right? Jessica Makeup. I don't know. I will link her channel below because I can't say it very well. But anyway, she was one of the first people that I remember seeing a Project Pan video for, and I was like, oh, this is interesting, and I kind of watched it. And then before I had known it, I went through her entire Project Pan playlist, right up into her like recent update. So I was kind of like just addicted from the start, because I was like, wow, I've kind of already been doing this, and I didn't really know I had a name, and I didn't know that like it was a thing that people did and made videos for. And like I said, when I had first started doing it, like I had almost no makeup. I was just panning stuff to get something else, to get something new. You know, I was finishing a foundation so that I could buy a different foundation. And then like obviously over time, like my collection grew, you know, and I have 5 foundations and I have a ridiculous amount of lipstick, you know, like it's grown. And you know, my love for panning has kind of grown too, and I've challenged myself a lot more over that time. So yeah, I mean, at first I was kind of like, you know, a little nervous to officially do like a Project 10 pan, because I had always, you know, been like, oh, I'm going to use up this foundation and then I'm going to buy another one. And it was never like, you know, here's a list of 10 products, finish them in a set amount of time or whatever. And I don't really remember, I know a lot of my early Project Pans are on my blog, but I don't really remember, like, you know, I know I'd pick out a set list, but I don't remember if I actually gave myself a time frame or not. I think I just kind of was like, hey, whenever I finish these, I'm gonna, you know, start a new one or whatever. But yeah, it was pretty, I guess, addicted kind of from the start, which is kind of interesting. 2, what is the hardest thing you've panned and the easiest? So in my opinion, the hardest thing I've found with panning has been blushes. Blushes, lip products, and certain kinds of eyeshadows. I feel like blushes are just hard because for the most part you really don't use a lot of product, and it can be kind of hard to wear the same blush every single day unless it's something that you really love or really enjoy, which is the thing with panning, because a lot of times when you're panning something, you're panning it because you don't love it, or you know, or you're panning it to kind of play with it and kind of get used to it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. But either way, it can be really hard to wear the same blush all the time for forever, basically, because the blushes just, they take forever. Lip products are hard because they pan pretty easily, but at the same time they don't, just because of the amount you have to wear them to actually see the progress. I know like this lip product I have on today, this is the hot pink lipstick from NYX that's in my Project Pan, and I've applied this 3 times. Like, reapplication is such a huge thing with panning lip products, but it's kind of annoying because it's like, you know, I could just slap on a liquid lipstick and be good for the day and not really have to worry about it unless I eat. So I don't know, it's kind of, and for me I think they're a little hard because, you know, you can only really pan like 1 at a time. I mean, you could technically mix your lipsticks, but you know what I'm saying. You kind of can only go through so many at a time, and even though for me I have so many and I want to get through a lot of them, you know, it's a little frustrating knowing that, you know, I've got to work on these ones here before I can jump into more of them. So there's that. And then like I said, some eyeshadows like this Anastasia palette, I feel like this is going pretty well. The eyeshadows are very smooth, creamy, you know, the rock ones too. They're pretty smooth, creamy, but there are some that are really hardly packed into their pans. For example, the Too Faced Chocolate Bar Palette. I have not tried to pan mine, but just from using it the little bit that I have, I could not imagine panning that palette. It would be so tough. I would love to pan that palette, I think, but it would be so tough. I think it would probably take me like 2 years to pan it instead of 1. So, you know, depending on the eyeshadows and how they are consistency wise, some are pretty easy and some are just really tough. So eyeshadows can be definitely hard. For easiest, I would say lip gloss. I think lip gloss is probably one of the easiest products to pan, at least in my opinion. You can layer it over lipsticks. Sometimes I wear it on its own as just like a lip moisturizer. I think it's pretty easy. They're one of my favorite items to pan because if I want to make a dent in my lip products, just pan a couple lip glosses and I will honestly have cut down my numbers a little bit and get rid of products pretty quickly. I don't really feel like I own that many lip glosses though, so it's kind of hard for me to pan them now because I don't own that many, but I feel like they are definitely one of the easiest items to pan. Number 3, have you attempted a pan that palette? Why or why not? Obviously, if you are new to my channel, you probably don't know, but yes, this is my second pan that palette. Last year was my first one. I have kind of unofficially panned a palette in the past. Like I remember finishing a little Bonnabelle like 5 eyeshadow palette thing. You know, there was one shadow in there I just really loved. I finished it and I was like, well, I don't want to just throw the rest away, so I will keep using it. And I actually finished it. I finished an eyeshadow duo and repurchased it in high school. So, you know, there are other like eyeshadows I have finished in the past. But last year was the first year that I've actually done a pan that palette and it was a lot of fun. I decided to do it again this year, but I did want to take it a little easier on myself with the Anastasia Catwalk palette, and I'm really glad I did just because I think my actual project pan is a lot harder this year, so I'm kind of glad I have an easier palette to pan. So 4, has panning affected your makeup buying habits, and if so, how? So I think most people for this are obviously going to say yes, because when you're panning stuff, you're kind of thinking about like what you're moving out and what you're bringing in. So for me, obviously it's affected my makeup buying habits. The problem that I think is that because my channel, and a lot of panning channels are this way too, where you don't just upload panning videos or decluttering videos, you upload beauty videos besides that. So sometimes, you know, you do feel the pressure to buy new products and review them for the purpose of your beauty portion of your channel. So I've definitely went through that. I've felt pressure to buy things that I don't think that if I would have bought it, I would have actually enjoyed it or liked it that much, and I would have pretty much just been buying it for the beauty portion of my channel. So panning definitely makes me think twice about what I'm bringing into my collection. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the first part of this year I've done horrible. But from here on out I am actually probably going to be going on a low buy, but I'm going to talk about it in a separate video because I don't want to make this one too long. And that one's going to be kind of more chit-chatty and kind of more go in depth. So it definitely does affect my buying habits. I think about what I'm bringing in, whether it's something I'm really going to enjoy, whether I'm going to really like it, because I don't want to end up not liking it and then being like, okay, well I'm going to pan it now just, you know, to finish it up. Or, you know, I don't want to pan it, or I don't want to bring something in that I do like but not use it that much and, you know, it kind of go to waste. So it does make me think of, you know, twice before purchasing makeup. 5, what do you plan to pan next? So next year I'm kind of leaning towards not doing a pan that palette. I haven't officially decided one way or another. I mean, it is only May, June, so, you know, I've got 6 months before I feel like I do have to decide. But kind of the reason why I'm thinking about doing that is I'm thinking about doing the 1 month 1 palette instead. So that way the palettes that I do love are getting used, because I kind of feel like doing these pan that palettes, I am kind of putting those to the side and not using them that much, and I don't like that. I've also thought about doing the 365 days of samples one, just because I do get the Sephora Play Box and I don't want that to build up too much. I want to keep my sample stuff down to a reasonable amount. So that's probably something else I'll be doing next year too. But other than that, just keep moving through my lip products, my foundations, and my eyeliners. Those are the main things I want to definitely move through. Number 6, where do you get your panning motivation and inspiration from? Definitely from the panning community and you guys. I mean, seeing you guys finish stuff and fly through things definitely motivates me to do that. You know, you guys always offer encouraging comments and that kind of thing, and it's wonderful. So definitely you guys. Also, you guys always have great ideas on how to get through products that maybe I'm kind of struggling with. So I love that as a community, that's the way things are. It's, you know, definitely you guys. Number 7, what is your favorite thing about the panning community? So I would say the greatest thing, again, is, you know, the sense of support and kind of motivation for each other. But also kind of, I like the fact that we are kind of changing things in a way. A lot of beauty channels, as much as I kind of hate to say it this way, you know, they're encouraging you to buy new products. Buy, you know, get the newest things, that kind of thing. And it's great, but I feel like as a, you know, as a project panning community, we are kind of encouraging you to shop your stash, use up the products that you already have, that kind of thing. And I kind of like that we are changing things a little bit, that we are, you know, not the typical go out and buy some more makeup. We're kind of more like, hey, you know, you have this, why don't you try out this and try doing something different with it? Or, you know, oh, I'm not loving that eyeshadow, well maybe, you know, do this and, you know, get through it and just finish it up, and, you know, that kind of thing. Like, I like that we are changing things a little bit, so that's another thing I like. 8, if you are currently project panning, what one item is giving you the most trouble? Obviously project panning, because I do year-long project pans. And then the item that is giving me the most trouble, I feel like this is probably kind of a given. It is MAC Russian Red. Red lipsticks, I don't own that many. Like, I own a lot of dark vampy reds, which actually for me are a lot, like, I wear those a lot more frequently. Especially during fall and winter, I wear those a lot. But I feel like an actual, like, true red lipstick like this, I don't wear that much. So that's kind of why I'm panning this, is because I don't want to have a high-end red lipstick that I'm not going to wear that much. I do have, I think, 2 ColourPop red lipsticks, and I'm really okay with that. I think I have like a coral one in my Maybelline line, but for the most part, like, you know, I don't want a high-end red lipstick that I'm not going to wear that often. So that's kind of why I would just want to stick with the ColourPop and Maybelline ones, because if I'm not going to wear them that much and they go bad, then I don't feel as bad tossing them out as I would this. Because this is like 16 bucks or whatever. I think they've even raised the prices more now. I don't remember, but it's giving me the most trouble. So this is kind of a little project pan sneak peek. You can see I've made a little bit of progress, but I mean, I've worn this so much, and the liquid lipstick that I've been pairing it with, it's kind of funny because the liquid lipstick is down to here now. So the liquid lipstick is actually showing and making more progress than the actual lipstick that I've been pairing it with. So it's definitely one of those things where I'm like, oh, I've been working so hard on this and I just don't feel like I'm seeing the progress with it. I know I'll get through it. I told myself that when I finish this and my Naked Lunch eyeshadow, I will reward myself with a trip to MAC to take in the empties and get 2 new lipsticks and colors that I will wear, and maybe pick up a new blush. But that is it. So this has been the thing that has been giving me the most trouble this project so far. 9. How long do you plan to project pan? Do you see yourself stopping at any point? Like I said, I've been kind of unofficially panning my makeup for a while. Like middle school and high school, you know, instead of buying a new foundation, I finished the one I had before or whatever. So I feel like it's something I probably will continue to do for a long time. I think the only reason that I would stop was if I quit wearing makeup, or, you know, I went very minimalistic and just wore like foundation, had like 1 or 2 blushes, had a couple lipsticks and a few eyeshadows. I think that would be the only other point where I would really quit panning things. But otherwise, I don't really plan to quit panning. I am not 100% happy with my collection. I'm kind of have come to that realization over the last like month, and it's really kind of been the last like year that I've even been thinking about this. But it's time to cut it down and, you know, drastically actually work towards getting rid of things. You know, like, I love filming the big Ulta hauls, but I just can't do that anymore. You know, with the other things I've got on my mind and where I want to be and stuff, I just really don't want to keep reaching in my wallet and handing out money for makeup when I could be handing it out for other things that I'd rather put it towards. Because, you know, I was thinking the other day, I was holding my Naked palettes in my hand, and I'm like, you know, at $55 a palette each, like, I'm easily holding, you know, $200, $300 in my hand, and that's crazy to me because that is money that I would gladly take right now and put towards paying off my car, or, you know, put towards paying off some debt. And just, you know, or even doing something fun for the weekend, you know, going up to Wisconsin Dells for the weekend, you know, just things like that. So it's hard because it's like, it's money that I've spent, and at the time it's like, oh, it's $50 here, $50 there, $20 here, you know, it like doesn't seem like that much, but it just adds up so quickly. And so I think I am, you know, really kind of getting ready to do some big panning, get rid of some things, and really kind of get my collection quite down. So I don't know that I'll ever stop product panning. It just kind of depends on my collection and where things keep going. But I don't really have any plans to stop. I would only stop if it got boring, and I honestly can say product panning to me is never boring. It's fun for me, at least, because one of the things that a lot of people, I think, when they watch videos for project panning that they don't really get, is that sometimes you think you like a product, but the more you use it, the more you learn about it. The more you learn how you like it, different ways to wear it, that kind of thing. So you really get to know a product. I mean, there are products where I've started a project pan and I've been like, oh, I love this, you know, I'm definitely going to repurchase it by the time this project pan's over. No. By the time the project pan was over, I was like, no, I never want to see this product again. I hate it. MAC Breath of Plum blush was that way for me. I loved that blush before project panning it, and before panning, or after panning it, I'm like, no, it's patchy on me, it's too dark, I just don't like it. And it's the same way, you know, sometimes I start out hating a product, and by the time I'm done panning it, I'm in love with it. So that's another thing too that I realize people don't really maybe realize, I guess, when they're watching a project pan video. They're just thinking we're using up makeup that we don't like, or, you know, they just don't understand when we're panning something that we do like. So that's kind of it. 10. Would you recommend panning to others, and how would you explain it? This kind of goes with my last answer a little bit that I kind of babbled on. But if you have a product that you love, pan it. Have a product you don't like, pan it. Because like I said, you learn so much about the product when you're panning it. You learn kind of a little bit about yourself too. And, you know, and sometimes people are like, well, why are you panning something if you're just going to repurchase it? And I'm like, well, because the lipstick is getting old and I want to you know, I don't want it to expire. I don't want it to go bad. Because I think the other thing with a lot of beauty channels and the whole encouraging to buy, you know, is it's makeup. It expires. It's not meant to necessarily be collected. It's meant to be used and enjoyed, and that's kind of what project panning is. It's about getting use out of your makeup, whether you are, you know, and like I said, with me next year, I'm probably not going to be doing a pan palette and doing the, you know, 1 palette 1 month challenge. That for me is genuinely about using my palettes that I love and enjoy. Panning is kind of more about actually using your makeup, whereas I feel like a lot of beauty channels are, you know, buy more, you know, which is fine, because it is exciting when new products come out. Like, I definitely get that. I get excited, I get, you know, caught up in the hype too. But I'm just saying the project panning community, I think, is a little bit better in a sense that we are actually encouraging to use the makeup that you have, and to kind of get what you can out of your collection. So I guess that's kind of how I would explain it is, you know, yes, you're using up your makeup, but you don't have to necessarily use it up and finish it. Even if it's just using a palette for a month, like the 1 palette 1 month challenge, like, you're getting use out of your makeup, and that's kind of the point of panning. So that's kind of how I guess I would explain it, but I would definitely recommend it to other people, because I think we are so, like I said, with most beauty channels, it's just buy, and I think that a lot of people don't dip into their own collections enough to dig out products that are older but still just fantastic and great. I remember Emily Noel has kind of been, she's not doing, I wouldn't say like project pan videos, but she's been doing things that are more aimed that way. Like, she was talking about like old drugstore goodies that people don't necessarily talk about anymore, because they're not new and they're not exciting, but, you know, they're fantastic, but they just don't get that kind of recognition because they're older. And then she's also done a couple, I think, like kind of shop your stash videos too. Like, I know for the peach palette, she did like a, you know, here's some dupes that you might already have in your collection kind of thing. So kind of nice to see people that aren't even really project panning kind of realizing that too, and kind of going through their stash and using old products that they have and that kind of thing. So like I said, I would definitely recommend it. It's just about getting use out of your makeup and not letting it go to waste, really. It doesn't have to be about finishing products and moving them out of your collection if that's not what you want. It's mostly about using the makeup that you do have. So I would definitely recommend it because I think everybody with a makeup collection should be enjoying their products, old and new. So that is it for this tag video. Of course I tag you if you are wanting to do this, because again, I don't really have a list of people picked out. I know a lot of people have already done this tag. I'm a little late on it. Don't be discouraged by the word pro in it. You don't have to be a pro panner to do this tag. And even Fort Worth Famous, the one that created this tag, she even said, you know, I just wanted another P word in there. So if you don't feel like you're a pro, don't feel like you can't do this tag. So if you feel like doing this video, go right ahead. I tag you too. But I loved seeing a lot of your guys' answers, and hopefully you'll enjoy some of mine. Sorry if I rambled or kind of babbled a little bit in places, but I don't know. I just have had a lot of panning stuff on my mind lately, and I've been getting a lot more into it, and kind of less into my beauty channel side of things and more into my panning side of things. So anyways, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.